And welcome to a show I've not yet named, but will do so in editing. So welcome to Master Time. And today we'll be talking about miniatures. So please, join me at my coffee table. Oh. Not being able to do that gracefully. So first off, you don't need miniatures. Many videos have probably said this, but you really don't. If you want to use it all imagination, that's completely fine. As a DM, if you want that visual aspect to your game for your players and for yourself, then you will need something to represent your players and their enemies. Using coins or bits of paper with your names on it, or you can use dice. I've got these coloured dice. These dice can represent your players. Red is one player, green the other, but if you don't have coloured ones, then it could just be by number, by a 6 or a 4. And if you want to, you can use D20s, you can use D10s, you could use anything. You could even use, if you want to represent age, you could use the D100s, and you can have different, that can be the decade they're in their 30s, in their 60s, in their 40s, to maybe represent their age. Just something that, as long as the players know what they mean, you'll be fine, and you can play just with dice. Another free kind of DIY option is to cut up a bit of whiteboard. So what I've done is I've got singular pieces. I think one of these has a Yoda's face still on it, because there's a Star Wars one. But yeah, singular pieces, 1 inch by 1 inch, near enough. And what you can do with these is to show what they are to your players. If you explain what the NPCs around the environment are, because that's one thing I don't have a lot of. I don't have a lot of NPCs, civilians. So I can write and actually show that they're there. Old lady. I mean, no, that's the old lady I've just explained. And if you want something a bit more detailed, or, well, it's not so much detailed, a bit more brief, but just, I don't know how to explain it, but I put a little F. These are just things that I'm going to be doing. F 35. And what that will mean is that it's a female who's 35. I mean, you can give a description, but they know that, okay, that's the female he's just been talking about, she's over there. And then you can have, like, kid, the dad. Just so when you're in a situation, you can have a bit of NPC life to it. And then you've got bigger pieces, like 2 by 2, 1 by 2, which can be used for mounts. So if I get someone there, boom, that is a mounted archer. And then I've got the bigger ones, 3 by 3. And then all you got to do with that, because it's whiteboard, you could write dragon. If you don't have a dragon miniature, boom, there's your dragon. That's the space it takes up. 3 or 3, those can be boats. You can add them up to make a big long boat, something like that. Or set piece stuff, like a stagecoach, so it's like coach. And then these can be the horses what drag it. And they can move along with the action. And that's free. If you already have a whiteboard, it's free anyway. Then you just cut it up with an X-Acto knife or scissors. And then you've got playable pieces which can move around, change. And again, you could just roll them out, completely changeable for whatever kind of campaign you're running. Sometimes board games do have miniatures, and you can use those. So we've got games like Hero Quest. So we've got 2 heroes, and you also have the elf and the dwarf if you have them, but my Hero Quest miniatures are from when I was at a car boot when I was 8 years old, and I found a box of them and I bought it. So we've got things like skeletons, zombies with meat cleavers, we've got plenty of orcs, goblins who seem to be holding hands. There we go, nothing wrong about that. Mummies, and then you've got the Chaos Warriors, which it can be an enemy, it could be one of your heroes. There's a paladin or something else in full plate. And then you've got the bigger things, which I may have put back in its box. And then you've got the bigger pieces, like the gargoyle. And these guys, who I forget what their names are. But you get plenty of pieces from that. And then if you want to use the ones from the actual hero quest, you've got set pieces like tables, chests, tombs. Got a spare one here, so that can be a tomb what you can have in it. So a lot of visual stuff going on with those. And also, you've got the rats what go on top of the bookshelves and on the torture rack. All I did with those is I put them onto miniature bases. So then you've got giant rats, well maybe not giant rats, but abnormally sized rats. So this is another thing, I didn't pick it up, but it was from a charity shop and it was expansion for a board game. So I just used stuff from those. I forget what it was called, to be honest. Actually, let me get them all in my hand first. All board games which had nothing to do with Games Workshop or fantasy. There was a game something to do with zombies, and it came with a bunch of zombies. So you've got big ones, they can be ghouls if you wanted. And then we've got these running ones. So yeah, massive amount. We've got these ones with half their bodies. And then if you want to use these zombies, then I've just got plenty of zombies to use and massive zombie hordes to use against my players. And that was only like a couple of quid from a charity shop. We'll get on to other pre-owned things later. Also, another board game that I have access to is Game Workshop's Blood Bowl. So, you've got pieces like these guys. You've got the orcs, like this. Now, I did pick the ones that didn't have them throwing a ball or anything like that. But there is this cool dude. And these, because not all orcs could be bad in your world, these could be armoured orc guards outside one of their settlements. You've also got the humans. They can be guards of one of your cities. That's another orc dude. And then they're older ones, so they are metal, but we've got beastmen, which I did not paint, so don't blame me for the weird colour scheme. Most of them have got gauntlets and fists and I believe, yep, one with a sickle hook. But there, you have yourself some beastmen to use as some enemies for your characters to face. Yeah, just use what you already have. It's the best kind of thing before you go buying stuff. Also what you can use are just things you already have. So again, I was lucky enough as a kid to have the Helm's Deep playset toy castle thing. I don't know what I would call it, but that came with statues which came on it. And this half one which got broken. So when you compare that to one of your hero pieces, well, you got yourself a stone giant. And then the figure of the Berserker Urukai. And all I got was a base, some super glue, and you've got yourself a giant. It may not be a D&D giant, but it's still, compared to one of your heroes again, a big giant. Maybe it's just a hill giant what painted himself red and made big ass armor for himself. You can, I don't know if this is, I don't think this would be a recommended thing if you haven't got the money, of course, but I thought it was a justifiable thing to spend money on, and that's Games Workshop miniatures, brand new from Games Workshop. You've got the smaller sets, and then you've got the bigger sets, and then you can buy the single figures. But I thought this would be a good way for me to buy miniatures in bulk straight away, and if I get them out for you, to have to populate the world. If they go up to a dwarven settlement, they have a bunch of dwarves. These are the less dwarves, these are our captains, so you kind of can create different regiments within them. And then you've got the more armoured type. He's a captain, he's an old one. So you kind of create a system within your dwarves, and then you've got a bunch of NPC guards or just normal players. Like, if you've been watching the Tales from D&D, this is Drod. Got his throwing axes, got his ale at his feet, and there's plenty of them. You've got orcs you can buy, you've got dwarves, you've got elves, you've got more weird things from the Age of Sigmar range. So with eBay, the best thing to do is to buy lots. So, in both sense of the word, I've bought a lot of Moria goblins. So you've got a bunch of goblins there, bought I think it was 36 of them, and that was for $9.99. And then you've got Gondorians, which will make good city guards, swords, spears. Got the Rohirrim, spears, swordsmen, axemen. Again, they can be mercenaries, they could be anything. They could even be your playable characters. One of those. Plenty of options, and again, lots of 36 of them, 30 of them, 32, all for less than a tenner, if you're lucky, and if you don't get outbid. And then, I also got one where I got a cave troll. I wanted some better orcs, so we've got orcs. So again, I don't really mind about the paint jobs on some of them. Some of them aren't painted, some of them are. I don't really mind. So those are the Lord of the Rings ones. Also from eBay. Like, as I just showed you, I've got quite a lot of dwarves, but I haven't got any ranged dwarves. So I bought these lot. I think they must be from some sort of board game, but they've got some crossbowmen. So we've got some crossbow dwarves. Again, completely different from everything else. I've got a whole mismatch of miniatures. They blend all different sizes sometimes, but they're there for the visuals, and they're there for visual aid for my players, and I think it works just fine. Got some spearmen, so dwarf guards. This dude's got an axe. Just making it a bit different. They do look different. I believe they could be even different sizes. So obviously the detail is different. I got these old knights. Again, scale, completely weird. Maybe they're all Goliaths, but still pretty cool to be able to bring these guys in. Just giving you options and things that you have. But that's a little show of the miniatures I've got and what I use and will be using in future D&D campaigns. Whoa, nearly forgot. Doesn't matter if they're broken. I got a cave troll without an arm. But maybe he got it bitten off by a dragon or something. Who knows? But still, that cost me a bit more money. He came with that guy and some other stuff. Some more Moria goblins, I believe. Much cheaper than buying one singly, brand new. So yeah, pre-owned is good. And if you've got the money to splash it on new stuff, go for it. Build up your miniature collections and have fun playing D&D, I guess. Yeah.